You're listening to the Dibbly Dobbly Podcast. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell to make sure you get the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure to like and share our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Let's have a look at the Netherlands and their performance in this ICC Cricket World Cup for 2023 and talk about how they went about things in this World Cup. Well, they finished in 10th place in the group stage. That was their result in this World Cup in 2023. During the group stage, they won 2 games and lost 7 from the 9 games they played. Leading run scorer was Sybrand Inkelbrink with 300 runs. Leading wicket taker was Bas de Leede with 16 wickets. And let's have a run through of all the results that they had in this group stage of this World Cup. They lost to Pakistan by 81 runs. They lost to New Zealand by 99 runs. They had that incredible victory over South Africa by 38 runs. Then they lost to Sri Lanka by 5 wickets. They had a heavy loss against Australia by 309 runs. That's where Glenn Maxwell scored the fastest World Cup century in that game. They had a pretty good win over Bangladesh by 87 runs. They lost to Afghanistan by 7 wickets. They lost to England by 160 runs. And they lost to India, the host nation, by 160 runs to wrap up their tournament for 2023. So for the Netherlands, their World Cup on a whole, I think they'll be looking back at this World Cup and saying, to win 2 games where no one gave us a chance of winning a game at all is a pretty good effort from the Netherlands. I thought they played some very good cricket in this World Cup. I think the win over South Africa was a good win. Obviously beaten South Africa twice now in World Cup events. Obviously the T20 World Cup last year in Australia, where they won that game at the Adelaide Oval. And to win this game in the World Cup up there in Dharamshala against South Africa was a superb effort from the Dutch. And obviously had a good win against Bangladesh for their second win. So looking back on this World Cup, as I said, the Dutch should be proud about their efforts in this World Cup. If we take away they won 2 games and lost 7. If we take away that and have a look at the results, the performances by individuals with bat and ball, then they've had a pretty good World Cup, the Netherlands. I thought for the Netherlands, they struggled with the bat during this tournament. No one made 100. They had some batting collapses, which pretty much cost them really in terms of trying to set up a game by setting a target, but also chasing. They had batting collapses, which they never recovered from. So their batting wasn't up to scratch in some of the games. But in the games against South Africa and Bangladesh, they did enough to win those games with the bat, despite their problems. Their bowling was good at times, but struggled against the top-ranked nations like Australia, for example, in that game in Delhi where, Glenn Maxwell went off. They struggled a bit. So their bowlers had some good performances and some performances that they struggled in. I thought Scott Edwards, the captain, he's a very good leader for this Dutch team, Scott Edwards. His wicket-keeping was good. His captaincy was good. And really got the best out of this Dutch team. Good leadership there. And also the Dutch, the strongest suit of this Netherlands team, and we saw that in this World Cup, was their fielding. How good was their fielding? They took every catch. Their ground fielding was good. They pride themselves on their fielding. They know if we're going to compete in a World Cup against the best teams in the world, we've got to do well with our fielding. And we've certainly seen that in this World Cup, haven't we? We saw that with Australia, how fielding can have an impact on games. And we saw that from the Netherlands. Their catching efficiency in this World Cup was superb. It was well up there with the top-ranked teams. I think it was around about 80% or 70%, which is good. For the Dutch, their first World Cup that they've played since 2011, when the World Cup was last in India. For them to win 2 games is a great achievement. And for them to even be here is a great achievement as well. They had to go through the qualifiers, and we all know the story in the qualifiers where they did well to get over the line and qualify for this event. But I think for the Netherlands, I think they're one of those stories, along with Afghanistan, that they've won a couple of games. Everyone in the cricketing world has seen what this Netherlands team is capable of. And we saw that in this World Cup. Yes, some of the results were one-sided. They did struggle in most matches of this World Cup, but in the 2 games that they won against South Africa and Bangladesh, they played some good cricket. So hopefully for the Dutch, all the players have great stories. They've got different backgrounds. They're not full-time professionals, playing cricket for the Netherlands. But for them to come here and do what they did in this World Cup is a tremendous effort. And hopefully for the Netherlands, they can really promote the sport of cricket in their country and say to everyone that, cricket is a sport for you. And, for young children and kids watching cricket in the Netherlands and liking cricket and want to play cricket one day, hopefully the team are good role models to try and encourage the next generation of Dutch players to play for the Netherlands. And that's what World Cups do. They inspire people, and they inspire young kids who remember watching World Cups, growing up, watching cricket, wanting to get involved in the game. That's how you get people in the game. So I think for the Netherlands, I think they've achieved a lot in this World Cup. Yes, they finished in last place on the table in 10th position, but that's not important. They won a couple of games, they played some good cricket, their players have got skill and talent. It's just about, for them, trying to develop more as a nation and just to play the top teams to get better. And I think that's what they've done in this World Cup. So for the Netherlands, I think they should be proud of their efforts in this World Cup. Thanks to everyone who tuned into our ICC Cricket World Cup 2023 coverage over these last few weeks. It's been great fun, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as we have bringing it to you. If you're watching or listening to this episode of the podcast on our YouTube channel, let us know in the comments your thoughts on the Netherlands ICC Cricket World Cup 2023 campaign. We'd love to hear what you have to say.